I ask for the truth on behalf of Juliana Wright concerning relationship issues. Needs a bit of guidance and insight on her marriage at the moment. We ask for that guidance and insight in the name of truth, right conduct, peace, love and non-violence. Blessed be to the crow, the carrier of souls from darkness into light. And we move the tarot cards to the side here, the Crow's Magic Tarot, where Crow is king in this reading. And we're now going to pull out 3 cards, going to deal 3 cards in a 3-card spread. The first card represents your recent past. The next card represents your present. And finally the immediate future is represented in the third card there. So just put them there so you can see them. And then I'm going to pull out the first card here, which is supposed to be like beginning, middle and end of story, isn't it? Each story has a beginning, middle and end, and this is representing the recent past. This is the recent past in your relationship there, in your marriage, and this will speak about what's been going on over the past 3 or 4 weeks or so. Between now and the last full moon. We're in a full moon at the moment, of course, and we just slowly rotate the card, and because we're on a full moon at the moment, the period of time from one full moon to another, or one new moon to another, or whatever phase to the same phase again, is one full rotation of the earth, of the moon around the earth, correction, is called a moonth. Notice here we've got the energy of the 9 of Swords. The 9 of Swords. Swords represents the element of air, which is to do with creative and transmissive powers. 9 is the peak of magic. Because you can't go any higher than 9. 3 3s are 9, and that's it. I suppose 3 is the magic number in the sense multiplied by itself it makes 9, and you can't go any higher than 9. 10 is really 1 plus 0, so it isn't really the highest number you can go to is 9, and that's why that represents the peak of magic. This particular deck refers to Crowley calls the 9 of Swords the Lord of Cruelty, and this focuses on that. Crow tends to focus on the torture. Notice the 5 feathers there. I always tend to lock on. Is it 5 feathers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I always tend to think of that as the 5 wombs of Christ, in the sense of only 4 were really needed. It's just the 5th one, when they took him off the cross, they stabbed him in the side just to make sure he was dead anyway, which that one would have been sufficient, wouldn't it, really, to have done him in. But it's that sort of, in that sort of sense, you've been crucified over the past 3 or 4 weeks or so, from a metaphorical point of view, by somebody or something. Swords is of course creative and transmissive powers. 9 is related to the element of water. The numbers 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9, 4 to 9, they are related to water, so it's the watery part of air, isn't it? I suppose you could say mental and moral qualities of creative and transmissive powers. In this particular case, it's more immorality or where communication has reached a peak in some way, and there's nothing more to say really. Other than the ruin of the Ten of Swords, nothing else can be said. And it's as if you feel as though you've been punished for something that either wasn't your fault or maybe just been punished for being you or whatever. Given the fact that it's about the marriage, of course, then we could imply there that to allege abuse in some way, I suppose is a serious thing to say, but these cards that speak the truth are pointing that way, pointing in that direction, aren't they? I want to pull out the next card, which represents the present. Let's see what energies vibrate now, and let's see what Crow has to say about this here. We just pull the card out, and then we'll just bring it round here just so you can see, and then we'll just flip it nice and slowly to reveal its energy. Here, notice we've got Judgment, a major arcana card. The Nine of Swords is a minor arcana card, whereas this is a major arcana card, Judgment. Major arcana energies tend to are literally that, major in the sense the most important part of this reading so far is what's happening now. Although major arcana energies don't give you a choice, they're more permanent. Not a choice, you've got no power over it. You still have choices, you can decide how you deal with it, whereas you've got no power to change it. Whereas here in the recent past, with the minor arcana energy, you did have power to change it, you did have power to do something about it. But now you don't, because the Judgment is here, and of course that can offer an awakening, of course, in a positive way. From a diabolical sort of aspect, of course, it's a new era, it's a new time, and a new phase. One phase comes to an end. Notice there the earthly effect, the moon there, representing introspection. Maybe as the wisdom is rained down from the shamanic energy of maybe the eagle there, that represents your inner self, I suppose, the spirit, listening to your higher self as you do that, and maybe as doors open for you to go through. It's up to you to go through those doors. It is up to you to choose to go through those doors or not. Maybe it's a door you've got to go through, a door of introspection, a door of reflection. Moonlight, remember full moon, isn't it now? And the moon here, maybe that's, of course, there's no such thing as moonlight, it's reflected sunlight, so it's a reflection. The moon is a reflection, and of course you are having now to reflect upon, make judgments and make decisions about. Yes, you're having to metamorphose, you're having to change and realise that you can't maybe the situation has to change, or you have to change, but either way you have awakened to what is actually going on and what this is really about, because somebody has shown their true colours. Maybe it's taken a while for it to happen, but over the past 3 or 4 weeks or so, somebody has been showing their true colours, and you feel as though, why me? Why has that happened? Why is it happening to me? Of course, if you are the victim of such a thing, yes, sadly the victim is the one who has to make the first move. You had power to make that move, but now you don't. Maybe that move is either being made of its own accord, or somebody's making that move for you. As the doors open, the judgment, often with judgment, the day of judgment is often depicted in the judgment card, where all are naked before the Lord, and the graves are opened up. And you've got those who are naked that stand before the Archangel Gabriel on the last day, as the last trumpet, as you would say. And all are naked before the Lord. And yet there are those wearing loincloths, as if to cover up guilt. But guilt, for some, the day of judgment is of course a means of removing that loincloth and finding them out, as all are naked before the Lord. And the loincloth is there to be removed, whereas some don't need to remove the loincloth because they were innocent all along. And for some, judgment itself can be a revival, an I told you so moment. I want to move on to the next card to see what the immediate future has to hold here. A period of time between now and the next full moon, where the present is roughly the past 3 days over to the past 3 to the next 3 days, so on that sort of 6-7 day period, or whatever, however long the phase, each phase lasts, as you would say, quarter phase or whatever. Not an exact, it's a bit of a dark art in the sense it's not an exact timing, but it's that sort of thing. So we'll just flip this card over here to reveal a minor arcana energy. You will have power to change it in the immediate future. The Ace of Swords, a powerful, dynamic energy there. Notice the crows rising as up on a new dawn, maybe. The Crowley deck seems to have like a dawn, doesn't it? Although maybe that's what it is. The darkest hour is before the dawn, isn't it? The darkest hour is before the dawn. That seems to be what Crow is saying. And the darkest hour is now, of course, as the judgment, as people decide what to do next. But the Ace, of course, is representative of the number 1, which is connected to the element of fire. Swords, again, is air, which is, of course, as we know, creative and transmissive powers. You could say spiritual essence of creative and transmissive powers, so the very essence of what caused the cruelty and the torture over the past 3 or 4 weeks or so, is now being judged upon us, as you could say, literally in that sense, and a new dawn breaks. The darkest hour is before the dawn, and as the dawn breaks, then of course a new powerful dynamic energy rises, and there's a new dawn upon this new communications again, beginning a new communication. In that sense, creative and transmissive powers, of course, knowledge, the sword of justice as well, but more sword of knowledge as well. It represents knowledge, doesn't it? It's a two-edged sword, so whichever way you swing it, it'll swing back the other way. So if you swing it ahead of you, it will come back toward you. Swing it to the side, it'll go to the other side, but you've got to bear in mind what's on the other side as well, haven't you? Maybe you don't need to use the sword. Maybe you don't need to communicate or whatever. Maybe the power of communication is the art of saying nothing. I don't know. But you will have power to change it, and you will have power to change it by creating a new beginning, a new form of communication. Maybe communication with somebody new, or a communication in a new way, a new form of communication, maybe in the form of an ultimatum. Do this next time, and I will make the first move. The victim will make the first move, and I will not. Time is of the essence for you to sort yourself out. Maybe. I have become awakened to your true colours, and basically I will not take any more shit. And this is really the crow carrying one from the darkness into the light. The crow, the raven, the corvus, whatever, is the soul carrier. And that, of course, the raven is, or crow, is one of the only animal spirits that actually speak, that actually communicate, speak to you. And in the darkness, there are a lot of darkness going on, but nevertheless, you are carried through that darkness to a new beginning, a new sunrise. Tomorrow's sunrise is the beginning of the rest of your life. Do you spend it with the same person? Of course, I suppose marriage is sacred. Do you lay down some ground rules? This is really down, this is your choice. But whatever you do choose to do, you will have power to change it between now and this time next month. Right now, it is a permanent thing. Right now, the judgment is going on. So within the next 3 or 4 days or so, the power will be yours. In the sense of, the ball will be in your court. Go well and stay well. But for now, these cards have spoken. Blessed be to the crow, the carrier of souls, from darkness into light.